From Bruno Sammartino to my husband Triple H, WWE superstars have been defining what it means to be a champion.
Wrestling just can't function without large and ostentatious belts to show that someone has achieved something. When wrestling started to become more of an organized entertainment product rather than a feature attraction of circuses around town, belts were given to top stars and they would proclaim to be the best. While WWE has gone from just having 2 singles titles and 1 tag team title to 8 singles titles, 3 tag team titles, and 3 women's titles. We have seen multiple titles over the years. The Attitude Era had tertiary titles, for God's sakes. Throughout so many titles, there have been some amazing design choices and some horrendous ones. Today we will be looking at the positives as well as the negatives. We are Wrestling Hub, and today we are looking at the 5 best title designs in WWE and the 5 worst. This is unironically the worst title we've ever seen personally. To avoid controversy later on, we'll just mention right away that John Cena's spinner WWE title will not be featured on this list. Even though it wasn't the best looking title, it became a symbol of WWE through the 2000s and its longevity speaks for itself. The WWE title from the 1980s, however, was a disastrously bad attempt at making a world title look good. This title was primarily held by WWE legend Bob Backlund in one of the longest single reigns in the title's history. It was weirdly bulky and very ugly. The center plate looked like a regular nondescript gold circle, and the side plates were encyclopedic knowledge about all previous champions. It was an extremely ugly title and possibly one of the worst. Tag team wrestling is a dying art in the WWE. While however sad that makes me and many other wrestling fans, it doesn't help that the titles look so ugly. This design has lasted for almost 10 years now, and the brand split just caused them to look uglier. The WWE and World Tag Team titles were merged in 2010 to create the abomination that was the tag team titles that the Hart Dynasty were the first to hold. It started off bad as the belts would be covered in bronze plates. Bronze doesn't really give off the champion vibe, and if we pass over that, we can address the larger design errors. The plates were large and overbearing, creating a very unappealing look. Along with that, the center plate design sees 2 Centurion crashing helmets. Why is that? This belt arguably didn't get better after the brand split, as the straps were changed to match the brand the belt was on, with the bronze being replaced by silver. Speaking of the brand split, this absolutely horrendous title needs to be changed ASAP. Stephanie unveiled a new championship for Raw after Dean Ambrose took the WWE title to SmackDown.
So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you...
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please.
Wait for it.
The WWE Universal Championship.
While these reveals have gone better in different eras, and we will get to that, Stephanie decided to unveil an ugly title, which at the very least hammered home the point that Raw was in fact the red brand. An all-red title seems like a fun idea when an undercard wrestler is trying to do some kind of comedy jig, but a world title? We saw Brock Lesnar carry this around, not someone like Heath Slater. Not only does it completely replicate the design of the WWE title, while the WWE title is a black leather strap with a gold W encrusted with diamonds, this title is just red. WWE, this ain't it, Chief. WWE CW was a bust from the very second it became a weekly brand for the company. While the 2 one-night stands were very well received events for their explosive and unique nature, a regular ECW program would definitely have been watered down and dull. While the show was going to be poor, at least they stuck with the original title for a couple of years, but it all changed in 2008. When ECW truly lost its extremeness and became WWE's third brand, where stars coming out of developmental go, was when they changed the ECW title to an extremely ugly all-silver belt. This is supported by a very thick black strap, which doesn't make the belt look any more appetizing. At the end of it all, it never truly looked like a world title, even though it was touted as one. At least the likes of Matt Hardy had been a world champion in WWE because of it. The Divas title was less of a championship and more of a symbol of the demise of women's wrestling in the 2010s. While the old women's title genuinely looked like a world title for the women, the Divas title looked like an oversized trinket that a 6-year-old has at the end of her earrings. It was an absolutely disgraceful title and never served its purpose. The Divas Championship was a tasteless title with the word Divas written across the middle. Its butterfly design and overbearing tones of pink made this a championship not worth carrying. There's not much more to say about this shambolic title, and I think we can all be glad that it's gone. Arguably one of the finest WWE titles ever made, the Winged Eagle WWE Championship was used through the peak of wrestling's popularity. While it was later replaced from the Big Eagle Championship, the Winged Eagle saw itself as WWE's primary belt for 10 years, from 1988 to 1998. The biggest stars in the WWE like Hogan, Savage, Hart, Michaels, and Austin all held that title. The belt had black straps and gold plates, with the center plate looking especially pretty. There was a Winged Eagle in the middle, and on it was a globe, above which the word world was written in heavyweight under it. It is the title most associated with wrestling, and for a good reason. Honestly, most WWE titles look really bad these days. They look designed to sell replicas rather than looking like distinguished championships. While most of the titles do look like toys, NXT comes up with the exception. We could have put any current NXT title on this spot, but we will be going with the UK Championship. It pops well with all its different elements while still looking really cool. It is one of the newest titles in the WWE right now. The side plates have the WWE logo on a red and black background, while the centerpiece is absolutely astonishing. Twin lions hold the WWE logo, which is on a red background. The lions are surrounded by a black background, and the title has all the right amounts of gold, black, and red to make it look cool and distinguished. The big gold belt is probably only second to the Winged Eagle WWE title in terms of its popularity. It is probably a testament that it's managed to last for much longer than the Winged Eagle. The belt essentially was a part of WWE programming up until 2014. While the design had been modified over time, the essence stayed the same throughout. It is called the big gold belt for a reason. The entire design of the belt is just gold. While the variations of the title are fairly minimal, and to explain how it looks is not the best way to describe the title, we will let its lineage talk for itself. The belt has existed for much of professional wrestling's boom periods. It was in the NWA, WCW, and later WWE, and this title might just be the most important when it comes to the history of pro wrestling. Who doesn't love this belt? Before we describe, does anyone remember how cool this would look? Every single thing about ECW had to have that vibe of underground and hardcore, and this belt perfectly captured that. It wasn't the most refined title, but it didn't need to be. It had the look to be cool, and that was it. ECW's description is the most complex one on this list. It had a black strap and a sort of a snakeskin pattern. The centerpiece had a large blue globe, and beside it 2 barbed wire baseball bats. The purple ECW logo looked really cool, and the seemingly blood-like splats made it look even cooler. Not to mention, it looked like it had been engraved over a steel cage, which is absolutely wild. The old NXT title is one of the most unconventional titles in wrestling history, but perhaps the coolest one. This list is not in order of preference, so we are not implying this is the best belt in history, but it does rank up there because of how different it is. The NXT strap managed to be a very well respected belt despite its design. The design was cool, but maybe not ready to be on WWE programming, but it did work really well. The old NXT title is easily one of the more out there designs. It was black and yellow and had a resembling giant X over a black and gold strap. It didn't have the conventional round shape that most belts do. It looked extremely cool with its large X though. It never looked like a toy, and further justified that its super innovative design could also exist as one that the mainstream audiences will expect. It also had some of the best stars in the wrestling business hold it, like Seth Rollins, Neville, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. It was truly the centerpiece of the rising brand and made a well-timed exit from the promotion. And these were 5 of the best title designs in WWE and 5 of the worst. I hope you're all having a great day. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you later in the next video.